Hi there, Stampers and Crafters. My name is Tami White, and welcome to our online class. Today we are going to be creating an adorable sequence of holiday Christmas cards featuring Santa in different sequences around the chimney, flying over it, getting ready to go down it with a sack of toys, and actually going down the chimney. They are so freaking adorable, and they are shimmery, and they are just fabulous in person. I can't wait to show you how to make these. We're going to make all three. They're a real fun set, and they come from the Night Before Christmas suite, which is in the Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. It's a really great suite. There's all kinds of fun products that coordinate in it. We're going to be using quite a few of them today. In addition to that, I also have a special card kit. It's only available for a couple of more days, but I just wanted to share this because it's awesome. It makes 20 cards in a snap. And I'll show you a couple of them in just a second because I think you're really going to love them. But they coordinate with the cards that we're making today. They're all part of this Night Before Christmas suite. And my kit comes with almost everything you need to get started with these cards. So I thought I would show you real quick. These are the cards for today's class. But real quick, I just wanted to show you the kit so you can see what's in it. And I'm going to give you designs and a tutorial to make 20 cards. So almost everything but adhesive, scissors, all right, and even some of the adhesive, the dimensionals will come in the kit. So some of that's included even, but almost everything's in it. And you can even double it and get a really good deal and make 40 cards. And honestly, there's so many supplies in this kit, you're going to make so much more than 20 cards. I'm going to show you designs for 20 cards in it, but there's so much more. And you can purchase these in on my blog at stampwithtami.com. And this is just a quick overview of what you're going to get, what comes in it. We've got the card bases all ready to go. There's envelopes all ready to go. All the embellishments are going to come with it. There's stickers that come with it. Very cute. You're going to have a lot of these left over that you're going to be able to make other stuff with. And then there's these adorable cards that are going to match the products that we're actually using in the cards today too. It's only available until the 20th, which is Sunday. So if you love it, you might want to jump in. This is the suite here that we're playing with. And again, what I'm showing you is the card kit that I designed. The kits are only available until Sunday. You can order them on my blog, and they match what we're going to be making today. So with today's projects, these cute little cards here, we're going to be using the Holly Jolly bundle, which is the stamp set and the die. And it's so cute, but we're also going to be using shimmery white cardstock, black foil cardstock, and I'm going to show you how to make some shimmery goodness on your cards to make them fun for the holidays. All kinds of good stuff. And as with all of my online classes, we are recording live on Facebook, and the replay will go up on YouTube following. And I have two of these bundles that we're using today to give away. One will be live. If you leave a comment, you will automatically be entered. Leave a comment on the original video. And one will be held on the October 28th. I will draw the winner of the second one. So that way, if you're not watching live, if you're watching the replay on YouTube or Facebook, it doesn't matter where you're watching it, or even on Pinterest if you're watching one that was shared there, you will be eligible to win the second one. Just make sure that you leave the comment on the original video. So that's the fun stuff that we're going to be playing with today. Again, this is all from the Night Before Christmas suite, which is in the holiday catalog from Stampin' Up. All kinds of fun stuff. All right, let's jump down, take a look at what we're going to be doing. So here's the cards, and just going to give you a quick 411 on this. I've got the comments coming up on my phone, and they're still not scrolling, so occasionally I'm going to have to lean over and just try to move that out of the way so it's not too obnoxious for you. Sorry. But I want to make sure that if you have comments that I catch them. And I want to make sure that I can see everybody on there. So welcome aboard, everybody. Let's have some fun. This is what we're going to be making. And I'm going to hold this up here into the light so you can see some fun stuff. So we've got shimmery white cardstock. Hopefully you can see that on the background. Let's zoom in just a hair. We've got shimmery, whoops, here we go. We've got shimmery white cardstock on here. Can you see that now? We've got glossy black for our words. I've spritzed the chimney. I'm going to show you how to do this with some shimmery champagne mist shimmer paint. And even Santa, we're going to color him. I'm going to show you how to color him. But if you can see this, see Santa's fur is actually crystal effects. This is really cool, shimmery crystal effects. So we really have the shimmer collection going on these cards. Very, very fun. All right, so I'm going to make them all together. Sometimes when I do a set, I'll do them one at a time, but today we're going to make all three together. They all kind of coordinate. They're a lot of fun, and so I want to do all of the pieces at once. If you're doing an assembly line, like it's holiday cards coming up on holiday card time, I would do, if you're doing like 10 or 20 or even 40 of the same card, I would do all the pieces at once. Cut all of your pieces at once, and that's what I mean by assembly line. Stamp all of your pieces at once. Do all of your watercoloring or painting or markers or whatever coloring you're going to be doing all at once. Do all of your assembly at once. So that way it goes much quicker once you have your card design. Here I'm going to do all three different designs at the same time. So first thing we're going to do is cut out our glossy black embellishments, and they come from this. It's Jolly. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. I want to call it the Holly Jolly die set, but that's the name of the stamp set. It's Jolly Season is the coordinating die set. So it matches the stamp set. We're also using the stamp set today. And it's got all of these fun dies that we're using today. So we're going to cut the dies out of some black glossy cardstock. It's fun, right? It looks so cool in person. Sometimes like the camera doesn't always pick it up. I think here you can see it pretty good. So it's going to be the black, blah, 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 blah. The black, the black glossy is really going to make that pop. So we're going to use our die cut machine, and we're going to cut those. And through the magic of video, I have them pre-cut for you. So here's what we're going to want from that die set. We're going to want Santa's sleigh. We're going to want 2 'Tis the Seasons. One for Santa and one for our Santa going down the chimney card. We need 1 black glossy Santa and 1 to be jolly. And once you cut them out, just a really quick tip here. Oops. I kept that on there for a reason. To see how these, like they're stuck in there, and you can peel them out really carefully, but a really quick way to get them out, especially if you're making a bunch of these and you want to do it quickly, is to use the die brush. This is the attachment on, I'm going to put those out of the way. The attachment for the take your pick tool. So this is like, seriously, when we say Swiss Army knife. So here's the tip. The tip is turn it upside down. I've still got the die on there, and that's going to help me in the beginning. I can take that die off if I wanted to. But the scrubbies, if we use it upside down, are not going to mess up the black glossy because they would scratch it if I did it right side up. So that's really going to make that die pop right out of our glossy cardstock. Get it out of there real quick and easy. And actually I'll move that out of the background so you can see that pretty much was perfect. I didn't need anything extra, but if you did, you can use the, woo, wow, just throwing that all over the place today. The paper piercer end of that take your pick tool and pop out anything else that was left. All right, so that's tip number 1. Alrighty, so once we get all that cut, and again, I've got them pre-cut for us and ready to roll. The next thing we're going to do is, while we have our die cut machine going, we're going to do our embossing. And if you're doing all 3 together, I would cut this one long strip. If you are doing, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second in case that doesn't make sense. If you're doing them individually, on the free PDF, which you can download it by clicking on the resource page of this video or going to stampwithtami.com and click on video tutorials, you can get this. It has all of the measurements that we're doing today. The video that we're creating today is going to be on there as well, so you can go back to that. It's got the URL to make it really easy to get back to, or you can scan the QR code if you know how to use those, and it's got the full supply list. So that will really help you, especially with the colors when we start coloring. That has the measurements for the chimneys individual bases, but if you're going to do 3 together, or even if you're making like a bunch of 1, what I did was just 1 long strip. So the width of this chimney piece is, I believe it's 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Let's double check that. Or not. Yes. Somewhere I have a measuring tool on this table. I believe it's 1 3/4. And then just make it super long so you can just cut it down. I got that. 2 inches. So it's 2 inches wide. Just make it really long. We're going to cut it down to 1 3/4. All right, so here we go. We're going to use our brick and mortar folder. I'm going to run that through the Big Shot machine, and then I'm going to cut it down into thirds. That was the easy way to say what I was just trying to say. If you weren't following me. All right, so we're going to take this, we're going to take our plain piece of cherry cobbler cardstock, and then we're going to run that through the die cut machine. It's going to emboss it, and then we're going to cut that down into thirds. Using, oh, wait for this, I'm dying to show you guys this. All right, let me just move these out of the way. Wait for it. Oh, this is the brand new paper cutter that we have been dying for this thing to come out. So let me see if I can get this into full view here. This brand new, just got mine last week. Demonstrators can get this right now. Customers, big news, can get this starting November 1st. You can start ordering yours if you need a paper cutter. So it's got a slide out arm. It goes all the way to 18 inches. 18, 17 and a half. Anyways, it goes a lot longer than 12. You've got a lot of space here. And it's a nice big board that we, it's great. If you have a paper cutter, if you have our old paper cutter, you probably don't need to upgrade right away. I mean, that one's really great too. If you're in the market for a new one, it's fabulous. Love it. Okay, so I've got my 2-inch strip here. It is already embossed. I know I love being able to teach you guys with new stuff. If you're not a demonstrator yet and dying to get your hands on this paper cutter, you can get this in your demonstrator kit. Just a little heads up there. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down into 1 3/4 inch segments, and I want 3 of them. So our finished chimney is going to be 2 inches by 1 3/4. Okay, so we have 3 segments here. All right, bye-bye new paper cutter just for now. Wanted you guys to see that little beautiful piece of toolage. Okay, so now we've got 3 chimneys for our 3 cards, and we've already pre-cut, according to the measurements on that PDF, the tops to them here. And we've got all of our dies pre-cut out for the 3 cards here as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is a little shimmer mist, and I think this in the holiday season is like a must on every holiday card. This is a personal opinion, just throwing that out there, but I love shimmer on holiday cards. We're going to be using the Champagne Shimmer Mist. And all of these products that I'm using today are available in my online store. You can just go to stampwithtami.com or click on the link in this video's description, and those will have links that go directly to the online store. Okay. You know what? One thing, before I spritz these, because they'll take a second to dry after that, let's take some black ink. I've got Memento here, but you could use Stays-On if you had Stays-On. Although actually the next step we're going to be doing is alcohol markers, so you want Memento for that. I'm going to just sponge some black around each of the chimneys, maybe even a little bit on it, because that is going to make it look like a real chimney, right? It's got black soot on it. Because, you know, unless you have a brand new house, your chimney doesn't look quite this nice, right? You need some soot to make it look authentic. And I'm going to sponge around the edge of our chimney tops too. Same reason. We want them to be real. Keeping it real, people. Just move that aside. We're going to bring that back out in just a second, that Memento. Okay, now for that, I was starting to tease you with that Champagne Shimmer Mist. Now we're ready for it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of our Stampin' Spritzers. Whoops, I already have some in this one. So I'm shaking it up a little bit. But this is you could use a spritz bottle too if you didn't have a Stampin' Spritzer. And you're going to pour some rubbing alcohol in it. I happen to have 91%. Linda prefers 70%. I'm told that the difference is the higher the alcohol number, percentage number, the quicker it dries. Honestly, it dries pretty fast either way, so, you know, when you spritz it. So first thing I'm going to do, and you can do this in either order, is I'm going to put some shimmer paint in. I don't really use an eyedropper to measure. You could use an eyedropper and put a couple of drops in there. I shook this up first. I'm just eyeballing it. And then I'm going to take the rubbing alcohol and, hoping for the best here, hope my hands don't get too shaky, and just pour some rubbing alcohol in there. Phew! That was pretty good, right? That was a good pour. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's easy to, I'm easily amused. All right, so I'm shaking that up. I'm shaking the contents up, and then I'm just going to give it a little test spritzer on my little paper towel there that I had in case I spilled. And then we're going to go ahead and spritz our chimney. So our chimney is nice and shimmery, just like everything else that we're going to have on this card. I like shimmer. It's holiday season. We want everything sparkly. Okay, these are wet. They're going to take a minute or two to dry. We'll say 2 minutes to dry. I know it looks very wet right now, but I'm going to pull these in a minute, and you're going to be shocked at how quickly they were dry. So I'm just going to put those aside for now. So we will carry on. The next thing we're going to do is Santa. So we're going to color Santa in with some Stampin' Blend markers. And he is being colored on shimmery white, because again, lots of shimmer on this card. Gotta love it. And I'm going to pull in a little bit of some background paper here, a little piece of grid paper here while we're coloring, because we're using the Stampin' Blend markers and Stampin' Blends. Pretty, aren't they? Pretty little palette there. Stampin' Blends are alcohol markers. They're very juicy. They're supposed to be very juicy, and they will bleed through when you're coloring. They're meant to do that. That's part of their design, because that's how you blend. So when you're working with them, you want to have your workspace protected. All right, so we've got, and I'm just going to move that up just a hair more so you guys get a little bit of a better view there. I'm going to take that Santa and stamp him in that Memento Black. This step you want to use Memento Black, not Stays On Black, because Stays On will run with alcohol markers, but Memento Black won't. If you're wondering which black you need for each, Memento, the Memento Black is for alcohol markers, and Stays On is for watercoloring when you're doing water-based. All right, let's do a little coloring. So I've got an assortment here. You can get all of the colors that I'm using here on that free PDF. I've listed them all out here for you. So we're going to start with, oh gosh, we can start with just about any piece of Santa that we wanted to. But let's go ahead and I'm going to start with his belt, which is going to be done in crushed curry. So that's his little belt buckle and some crushed curry. I didn't blend that just because it's a very narrow piece. And I'm also using the nib tips. Each one comes with a brush tip end and a nib tip end. I might use the brush tip end in some of the larger areas like the sack, but a lot of this image are smaller areas, so I'm going to be using the nib tip on most of that. Okay, we'll go ahead and do our black pieces next. So we've got, for black, I've got both dark and light. Every color of these alcohol markers, the Stampin' Blend alcohol markers, come in a dark and a light, and that's how we get the different shading going. However, with black, the light is so dark that it's really, really it's hard to see some of the shading you do on there, especially when you're using the nib tip, because that goes on really dark. And forgive me for having to grab my readers. Usually I can get away without them, but today it's one of those days, I guess. Gotta see. So we're gonna go ahead and do his mitts, his boots. Now, his little mouth here, he looks like he's singing to me. So you could go one of two ways with his little mouth. You could color it red, like, you know, his red little lips, or I'm coloring it black so it looks like he's singing. So he's got his mouth open there and he looks like he's singing. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm coloring, I feel like it's therapy. Oh, Janet. It never fails when I bring out the blends on a video. Someone always asks me about the tray. All right, so this is just, you're going to laugh when you hear this. This tray is literally the top of a shoe box, you know, these plastic shoe boxes you get at Target or Walmart. I put my card supplies in there when I'm making a class. And this is literally the lid. I just put them on there so that I can carry them all out without having a big mess happening. So that you guys didn't have me sitting here like, you know, trying to sort through my blends. It just keeps them organized. So I am doing a little bit of shading with that darker black. I don't know if you noticed that while I was explaining the plastic lid. But not a lot because the black, it doesn't show quite so much. So let's go ahead and do his toys next. And the toys, the darker is going to be the light Bermuda Bay, and the lighter is actually light Pool Party. Oh, you guys are cracking me up. Of all the, oh my goodness, what just happened there? Wow. Holy cow, there we go. That's a blooper and a half. Did you guys see that? Let's see if we can get that happen. No, I don't know. That was the inside of our Bermuda Bay. Stampin' Up might be getting a call from me today. I guess we're going to use the other end. That was actually kind of funny. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and color the bow and the ribbon here with the dark Bermuda Bay. Of all the cool things that I'm using here today, really, the tray is the one thing that everybody loves. Oh my goodness. We just spritzed everything with shimmer mist. That's like my favorite. And we're going to be heat embossing in a minute. Maybe that will be cooler than the tray, than the lid to my plastic. Oh, you guys are cracking me up. All right. So next we got our little teddy bear. These are petal pink right here. I know, at least it didn't ruin Santa that we were coloring. That was just so weird. So I just used some light petal pink there for the little teddy bear's face. Teddy, I'm going to make really light here. I'm going to make him a light crumb cake. And then we'll do a little shading with some dark crumb cake. There's always rewind. If you missed the shimmer mist, you can always rewind it. Beautiful thing about videos, and even live videos. You can, it's like TiVo, or actually TiVo's not a thing anymore, isn't it? It's like your DVR. You can actually rewind live videos now. But then you miss what's happening in the, you might want to wait till we're done. Totally your call, just saying. All right, so a little bit of the light cherry cobbler for this candy cane. We're going to bring that cherry cobbler back in just a second for Santa. And then the sack is going to be some soft suede. Now the sack I'll probably do with the brush tip end. I'm going to start with the lighter and then work to the darker. And that's just personal preference. You could start with the darker if you wanted to. Personally, the reason why I like to start with the lighter is because the alcohol markers work best when they blend best when it's wet. So I like to put a nice coating of the light down and then shade it with the darker. And then go back and blend with the lighter. And that's why I like to do it. But I know that a lot of people would, you know, rather start with the dark and then blend it in and color with the light rather than going the extra step. And it's really just a personal preference. So that's totally your call if you'd rather. Because I'm going back now with the light to blend. So you can see really how awesome that looks. His sack really just popped. And then we're just going to color his face with a little bit of the ivory Stampin' Blend markers. And I pulled out the brush tip, but I really want the nib tip on that because it's a small space. And as with all of my videos, whenever we're coloring, everybody's a lefty today. Lefty or not, so I got the darker of that petal pink, and we're just going to make some rosy little cheeks, and maybe his little nose can be rosy there. And then lastly, we're just going to color in his suit, the zoot suit. We'll start with some of the lighter of the cherry cobbler. Wow, got quiet all of a sudden. I got into it. I do love coloring. It just brings me back to being a kid, right? Coloring in the coloring books. Maybe nowadays kids color on their iPads. I don't know. Do they even still have coloring books? I hope so, because this is just so therapeutic to me. It's one of those things that, you know, when you really want to de-stress, a little stamp therapy goes a long way, especially with the coloring. For me, at least. Now, see, for these larger areas, I feel like I could get away with the brush tip. It's just the tighter, smaller areas that I wanted the nib tip. There we go. Janet says, lefties unite. Yes. And righties too. But yeah, we're all lefties today. Not so bad. All right. So I just did a little, I know, look at, he's got a little armpit stain there. Let's see if we can blend that right in. I guess Santa got a little sweaty while he was putting his toys together. Ah, wasn't my finest work, but in the effort of, you know, showing you how to do it, I think we can get away with that. Okay, so Santa's colored. And this is this you could keep going with this if you wanted to layer some more colors on him or not. I'm just going to leave it like that just so that you have an idea of what I used for the coloring on it. And the next step I would do here is I would cut Santa out with the Holly Jolly die that coordinates with Santa. And I put it down. It's this one. So I would cut him out first, and then we're going to use a cool new product. I thought, well, we're making shimmery cards. Let's just go all the way to town here. And that is Crystal Effects right here. This is called Shimmery Crystal Effects, brand new in the holiday catalog. Oh, Tina, I am so jealous. Tina said she just got her paper pumpkin for October. Don't spoil it yet. I can't wait to get mine. Maybe mine will come today or tomorrow. That would be cool. So I'm sorry that my coloring kind of went outside the lines there, but I think we'll be okay. I think you get the idea. So the Crystal Effects, the reason why I wanted to cut Santa out first, and the reason why I'd recommend it, oops, I didn't mean to do his beard, is it takes a little while for the Crystal Effects to dry. You want to put this off to the side if you do the Crystal Effects step. And you know what? Since I started his beard, let's just do the whole thing. And then I would just continue, and I continue to do this shimmery crystal effects all the way, all over his fur-lined pieces. I'm going to zoom in here because it's really hard to see the shimmer in that shimmery crystal effects. I don't even know if you can see that here. Can you guys see that okay? This is wet, but can you see the sparkle in it? And then through the magic of video, I have one all done already. And this one, the Crystal Effects, is dry. So let's see if you guys, can you see that sparkle in his, and gloss on his coat there? Really, really cool. All right, so Santa is all ready. So we have we're really doing everything on this card. This card is just like a little bit of all of the fun put together. So now we're going to use some words, and we're going to use some Shimmer Black embossed powder, also brand new in that holiday catalog. And where we're going to put that is on our reindeer card. And again, this might be really hard to see. Can you see the sparkle on it? In person, you can really see it, but I don't know if the video really picks it up. On this, may the magic of Christmas reach you this year. Love, Santa. And that's actually 2 stamps. So first thing we're going to do is wipe over our piece of cardstock here. This is shimmer white cardstock that I'm using on everything. And I'll get you zoomed out. this is the Emboss Buddy. The if you forget it, you will regret it step. This just keeps the static down so that when you stamp and then pour the emboss powder over it, it doesn't get extra little pieces on there from static. All right, so to line this up, I actually started with the bottom. So these are two different. The Love Santa is actually a separate stamp from the same set. I started with Love Santa so I could line it up. Now I want some space at the bottom here for my embellishments that I'm going to put on there. So I just added a little bit higher than that. Stamparatus would be really good choice for this, especially if you were doing multiples, because that would make it easy to line everything up for your multiple cards. That's another thing about when you're doing your holiday cards that will make it quick and easy. One is assembly line. The second is the Stamparatus. All right, so I'm just taking that grid paper and making my little catch plate there for the, you can really see the glitter in there. Can you see it? So fun. So this is Shimmer Black Emboss Powder, brand new. I'm going to pour that over. So then we have our words. Now, the great thing about these little jars is it seems like the first time you use them, you end up with more embossed powder than you started with. Don't know how that works, but they go on forever. Yeah, you do especially regret not using the Emboss Buddy when you're using black. All right, so I've got my heat tool here. This is an embossing heat tool. And we're just going to melt that powder. So it ends up being raised, glittery black powder. So cool. You see okay there? All right, so we've got 3 cards that we're making here. All of the dimensions are the same, and they are all on that free PDF. And I know only one of them actually has words stamped on it. The other ones, the words are going to be the die cuts. So I'm going to start with putting our chimneys together. Now remember, we put them off to the side to dry. They're all dry. They're all dry. Can you see that shimmer on there? Oh, it's awesome. Big fan. I'm big fan. So we've got shimmery, sooty chimneys all ready to go. So I am going to put the bottom piece of each chimney on with snail adhesive. One is portrait, one card is portrait, and the chimney goes right in the middle of that one. The other 2 are landscape. And one chimney goes on the left side, and the other chimney goes on the right side. Except I screwed that one up. Good thing that paper had 2 sides. Shh, don't tell anyone. Okay. So this one goes on the left side. With the ones with the words goes on the left side. And the other one goes on the right side. And then all of these lids, chimney lids, they probably have another name. My masons out there probably know what that would be called. I'm using black Stampin' Dimensionals for these. And the reason why is because the black foil that we're going to be using on the rest of the pieces, this doesn't show. So if you get little, especially there's a couple little parts that the dimensionals are really tight and that you might be able to see an edge of it, but you don't with the black. Gotta love the black dimensionals. I'm a big fan. Okay, so I am going to put, they're not quite at the tippy top of the chimney there. They're down just a hair. Okay, so next up we're going to assemble the words that are from our die cuts. So actually, you know what? Let's put Santa on here first. So we've got a black glossy Santa here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so sad. I'm sorry, Santa. Please forgive me. I'm just cutting off his feet. We just need his feet for this one. This one is the one where he is going down the chimney. And actually we'll cut a little bit of that off too. Don't need all of that. So we'll put some dimensionals on him. So I'm just going to put one on him. And I got to lift up where I put that lid down because I probably wanted to put the feet down first. And I put him at a little bit of an angle, right? So he's hanging out of the chimney. He's going down. He's going down to spread some love and some joy. All right, so next up, now we're going to do the words. So on that one, I've got two words. I've got 'tis the season, and I've got to be jolly. On this one, we've got 'tis the season. And then on the one that we embossed the words, we've got Santa's sleigh going over the top here. And it looks like I might have wanted to go a little bit lower with those words, so the reindeer might be hanging off just a little bit on this one, but that's okay. We will make it work. So you can do multiple things to adhere. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm putting snail on here, but you can use snail if you want to, but I want them to stick up. So I've got black dimensionals here, and the black dimensionals actually come with mini dimensionals, but for some reason I can't find that pack, so I'm just using the edge of the full-sized ones to put on the deer because the deer are skinny. They're skinny deer. They need to be fattened up. And again, because the dimensionals are the black dimensionals, if a tiny little piece of it hangs out, you won't see it. I'll take my little hair out of there, unless somebody wants that, you know, as part of their card. Ew. Is that like when you go to the restaurant? Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. It's not. The greeting card's slightly different. I'm gonna say that hair is with love. All right, so Santa's sleigh going over here. I do want to be able to read those words, so let's make that reindeer go right there. All right, so we got one. Now the rest of the words I attach flat rather than popping them up. Oh, thanks, you guys. This is the black foil paper. I'm glad you guys love it. Thank you. All right, so first we've got 'tis the season. Now, if you're like me and you're getting kind of lazy and using snail instead of, like, say, the liquid glue or the fine tip glue pen, those would all work great, probably better than the snail that I'm using, but in the effort of time and because I just like snail. If you do use this, you want a paper piercer handy just to poke out any of that adhesive that might show through, so there's no adhesive show through on your finished card. So we've got 'tis the season to be jolly, and our last 'tis the season goes over this chimney right here. Poking out any adhesive on that, and then that's going to go at an angle right over this chimney. And then last but not least, we're going to put Santa on. Actually, he's not last. He's not last and he's not least. Snail boogers, yeah. So some dimensionals on the back of Santa. Remember when I said when you color with those alcohol markers, they're meant to be juicy and they are meant to bleed through the back. So you can see Santa's coloring on the back and the front. That is intentional because you want them to be wet to blend. That's what gives a really good blend on there. All right, next up we are going to just attach these to our card bases using snail adhesive. I've already lined the inside of these basic black. I do have the measurements for the inside and the outside on the free PDF that you will find on the resource page of this video. So what I meant by that is I have that inside already in there. All right, now for the very last step. And you could end here, but you know me, I always got to have some bling, bling, bling. And so I used two different things here. One is the holiday rhinestones that are in the holiday catalog. They come in different colors, and I used 3 different colors, although you could use the same if you chose to. And then I used some snowflake sequins on the chimneys to make it look like there was snow on the chimney. So let's start with the rhinestones. I'm going to take the Take Your Pick tool. And the colors that you use here, if you do this, are totally personal preference. I'm going to go with the, you know what? I'm not sure if this is crushed curry or maybe a mango melody. And the next one is going to be one of the red colors. I'm going to put 3 up in the upper left-hand corner. And then, oh my gosh, I love you guys. The heart fountain's going crazy. I'm glad you guys love these. I was just having so much fun with Santa and the chimney. I couldn't stop. So I got him in I got him in 3 different sequences, right? He's flying onto the rooftop, or he's flying away from the rooftop. He's ready to go down the chimney here, and he's going down the chimney there, right? So cute. And the very last step, now this one I did something a little interesting with. I was experimenting with these little snowflake sequins. Now these come in the suite with the snow globe. And I think originally they would make really good confetti to go inside the snow globe, the shaker, you know, that dome. But I wanted to use these little snowflakes and put them on the chimney, so it looked like there was a little bit of snow on the chimney. I'll just do one of them here. So this is what I found. The glue dot, the mini glue dot, was a little bit too big for this, but I found if I stuck them to the bottom of the snail adhesive where the adhesive are, and I had to use the Take Your Pick tool to do this because they were very, very small. Again, they were made to be confetti, but it works, right? That you get just enough adhesive on the back there, and there isn't any adhesive show through. So that's a little, except for that little piece. That is just a little, come back to me, baby, come back. A little tip there on how to get tiny little pieces, get adhesive on the back of tiny little pieces. I'm just going to do that one so you have an idea of how to do it. But I did do it on all 3. And our cards are complete. That is the complete set of 3. Super cute, right? Do you love them? I do. I don't know. I might pick one of these for my design. I might do all 3 this year. And I'm just going to swap these out so you can see them with the snowflake on them there. So cute. All right, so the shimmer, right? We've got shimmery white cardstock. We've got glossy black for the words. We've got the Crystal Effects shimmer paint. We've got champagne shimmer mist on the back here. Did I miss some shimmery? Did I miss? Oh, and the shimmery black embossing powder. That's a whole lot of shimmer, right, in one class. So this is one heck of a Shimmery Santa class. All right, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed these. Don't forget to leave a comment to be entered into win one of these Holly Jolly bundles. And don't forget that my Night Before Christmas card kit, there's only a few days left. Sunday is the deadline. Make 20 cards in a snap. They coordinate with the products that we're using today. It's a fantastic suite. You can find that in the Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. You'll find it on my blog, stampwithtami.com. If you don't have one handy, you can request one there, and I'll get it right out to you. And I'm glad that you have enjoyed today's projects. And I will be back on Friday with another class. Thanks for joining me today.